It's hot. Even in the early hours, the sun's glare is intense. The air is thick, heavy with humidity. You wipe the sweat from your brow, the dust from your back, and squint against the glare. Another day in the city, another day in the valley. You are part of a skilled labor force, one of many who keep the great city of Mohenjo-Daro running. Your work is humble, your tasks many. You might be a weaver, your hands deftly working the loom, turning raw materials into usable cloth. Or perhaps you are a potter, molding clay on a slow wheel, each piece a small work of art. Maybe you work in the fields outside the city walls, coaxing crops from the parched earth, your back bending under the sun's relentless gaze. It doesn't matter what your trade is, only that it is honest work, work that helps sustain the city. The Indus Valley Civilization is one of the oldest in the world, and your city is its beating heart. Look around you. The streets are a bustling hive of activity. Merchants hawk their wares, their voices competing with the rhythmic clang of a blacksmith's hammer. You dodge stray dogs and the occasional cow as you make your way to the central grain market. Here, the air is thick with the dust of 1,000 sacks of grain. The stalks are long and dry, rustling softly in the non-existent breeze. You can almost taste the grit in the air, feel it catching in your throat. As the sun climbs higher, the heat intensifies. The crowds press close, making it hard to move, harder still to breathe. You long for the shade of the great banyan tree, its sprawling branches offering a momentary respite from the oppressive heat. But even here, the silence is broken only by the buzz of insects and the distant cry of a bird. There is no relief from the heat, no escape from the relentless glare. In the distance, you see the river, its waters shimmering like a mirage. The lifeblood of the valley, it sustains the crops, the cattle, and the people. But today, even the river seems to offer no solace from the oppressive heat. The sun is a relentless god, demanding worship with every scorching ray. And you, a mere mortal, can do nothing but bow before its fierce, unforgiving light. As the day wanes, so does the heat. The sun, a tired titan, sinks towards the horizon, its fiery crown sinking lower and lower until it finally dips below the horizon, leaving behind a sky full of hues of orange and red. The air grows still, the crowds thin, and the sounds of the city fade into the gathering darkness. It's a time for rest, a time to retreat to the modest home you share with your family, a time to wait for the cool touch of night to chase away the day's lingering heat. And so you turn toward home, your body aching, your spirit weary, ready to start again tomorrow when the sun, like a faithful servant, rises in the sky to begin his endless reign. And you, a silent witness to his fiery majesty, will be there to greet him, a timeless ritual in a world that never ends. The year is 2000 BCE. You are a laborer in the ancient city of Mohenjo-Daro. Your day begins with the sunrise and the sacred ritual of bathing in the early morning light. You work in one of the many brick kilns on the outskirts of town, and your job is simple: make bricks. You mix the clay with the right amount of water, let it rest, and then you start to shape it into a brick. The rhythmic slapping of your hands on the clay is the soundtrack to your day. But it's not just you. Hundreds of other laborers are doing the same thing, creating thousands of bricks that will be used to build the great city around you. By midday, the sun is high in the sky, and the temperature is unbearable. You take a break to drink some water from your clay pot and eat a snack of dried meat and bread. Then you get back to work until the sun begins its slow descent towards the horizon. When the bricks are finished, you take them to the nearby construction site and help the team unload them from carts. As the last rays of sunlight fade away, you head home to rest, eager for a good night's sleep before starting the process all over again tomorrow. But tonight, something is different. Tonight, we are going to follow the main trading route of the Indus Valley Civilization, connecting the major cities of that time. Our trader has been traveling for weeks, moving from city to city, selling his wares and collecting new goods to trade. His caravan is loaded with spices, textiles, and precious stones, all of which are in high demand in the next city. Along the way, he meets other traders from different lands, some coming from as far away as Mesopotamia. They exchange stories and news of the world while they bargain for rare goods that catch their fancy. After a long and dusty journey, our trader and his caravan finally reach their destination. They unload their goods and set up shop in the bustling marketplace, where soon they'll be plying their trade once more. But for now, it's time to rest and prepare for the journey back home. But there is one thing that the people of the Indus Valley didn't leave behind: their language. Archaeologists have uncovered thousands of clay tablets inscribed with a mysterious script, but so far it has resisted all attempts at decipherment. What secrets does it hold? We may never know. You enter the citadel, the heart of political and religious authority in the ancient city. The buildings here are grander and more numerous than in the lower town, and many have beautiful views of the surrounding areas. Some even have access to running water from the advanced plumbing system. It's clear that life here is more comfortable than in the crowded lower town. You can almost hear the echoes of important meetings being held within these walls, planning and governing the city below. As you wander through the empty rooms, you can't help but feel a sense of awe at the ingenuity and sophistication of the people who lived here so long ago. Their accomplishments are truly remarkable, and yet there is still so much about them that remains unknown. One thing is certain, though. As you make your way down the stairs and leave the citadel behind, you feel a deep connection to the past and an appreciation for the rich history that surrounds you. As the first rays of sunlight touch the horizon, you join the throngs of people making their way to the city's bustling center. The streets are alive with activity. Merchants hawk their wares, artisans display their skills, and the air is thick with the aroma of spices, incense, and fresh-baked bread. The great bath, a testament to the city's ingenuity, glistens in the morning light, its steps worn smooth by countless feet over the centuries. Nearby, the priest-king's residence stands as a symbol of the divine right to rule, its towering walls adorned with intricate carvings of mythical beasts and deities. Your destination today is the city's massive citadel, a sprawling complex of buildings used for everything from grain storage to administrative offices. It's here that you and your fellow laborers play a vital role in keeping the city running smoothly. As a laborer, your work is essential to the city's survival. You might be tasked with carrying water from the nearby canal or collecting waste at the city's periphery. Each task is crucial in maintaining the delicate balance that keeps the city thriving. The heat of the day is relentless, and you find yourself drenched in sweat, your muscles aching with each passing hour. But there's no time to rest. The city's survival depends on your efforts, and you work on, spurred by the promise of a cool dip in the city's public baths when your shift ends. The camaraderie of your fellow workers sustains you, and you take comfort in the knowledge that you are part of something bigger than yourself, a vital cog in the machine that keeps Mohenjo-Daro running smoothly. As the sun begins its slow descent, you and your fellow laborers return home, Your body's weary, but your spirit's high. You have done your part to keep the city alive, and now it's time to prepare for the coming night. The air is cooler now, and you savor the respite as you wash your face and hands in a nearby street. The sound of children at play fills the air, and you smile, knowing that your efforts today will help ensure their laughter continues tomorrow. For in this ancient city of Mohenjo-Daro, the survival of the greatest city in the world depends on the smallest of efforts. And your day, like every day, has just begun. I hope you enjoyed this glimpse into the daily life of a laborer in Mohenjo-Daro. If you want to learn more about the Indus Valley Civilization, stay tuned for more videos. Thank you for watching. The sun, it's barely up, but the city is awake. Step outside, and the first rays of sunlight bathe the city in a golden haze. The streets are laid out in a precise grid, a marvel of planning, but they are crowded with the bustle of early risers. Merchants calling out their wares, oxen lowing as they pull carts laden with goods, and the rhythmic clank of tools echoing in the narrow alleys. Today, your task is at the brickworks. The city has endless need for mud bricks, keeps you bound to a cycle of labor from which there is no escape. At the brickworks, your hands, already rough and calloused from years of toil, will sink into wet clay. The gritty texture will cling to your fingers as you knead it into molds. The air is thick with the scent of burning wood from the kilns where bricks are fired to withstand the test of time. Your arms will ache as you press the clay into shape. Your back will bend under the weight of carrying molded bricks to the drying grounds, and sweat will sting your eyes as the relentless sun beats down on your back. But there is a rhythm to this work, a certain satisfaction in knowing that each brick you make is another step towards putting your own mark on the city, another notch of stability in an ever-shifting world. And as the hours pass, the sun climbs higher in the sky, and the bricks pile up, you find a strange solace in the monotony. Your body, though weary, finds comfort in the repetitive motions. You are but a small part of this grand design, a cog in the machine that is the city, and yet without you, and others like you, the city would crumble to dust. For here in this unforgiving world, every drop of sweat, every aching muscle, every cut and bruise is a testament to the human spirit's tenacity. And as the sun begins its slow descent, casting long shadows across the drying bricks, you know that tomorrow the cycle will begin anew. But for now, it's the end of another day. Rest your weary bones, for tomorrow the sun will rise again, and with it, the city's need for more bricks will call you back to the brickworks. The sun beats down with an oppressive heat, a heavy pressure that saps your strength with every step you take. You pause to drink from your clay cup. The water is warm and faintly tastes of earth. It's drawn from a well shared by dozens of other families. Your stomach growls, reminding you that it's been many hours since your last meal. In the small patch of shade you've found, you slowly eat your handful of lentils, your fingers working quickly to get them down. You wash them down with a swig of water and reach for the flatbread you've brought with you, baked on a hot stone. It's hard and possibly a little burnt, but you eat it slowly, savoring each bite. Perhaps if you're fortunate, you might have a few dates to add some sweetness to your meal. But more often than not, your meals are eaten in silence, a quiet testament to your hunger. You look out at the vast fields that stretch as far as you can see. They're the lifeblood of your city, providing food and sustaining life. But the river, once so vital, now threatens to turn against them, its waters rising with each passing day. Floods have a way of washing away not just homes, but entire fields, leaving behind only mud and despair. You think of the families who have lost everything, their fields submerged, their homes destroyed. You wonder how they'll rebuild, where they'll find the strength to start over. You know all too well the feeling of losing everything to the whims of nature. Droughts and floods are the bane of your existence, taking turns to torment you. When the rains finally come, you feel a surge of hope. It seems like the earth itself is sighing with relief. The parched ground drinks in the water, each drop a blessing. For a moment, the oppressive heat lifts, and you can almost imagine the fields as green and the river as full and life-giving. But then the clouds move on, leaving you in the oppressive heat once more. And so you work on, your body aching, your mind wandering. You dream of a time when the sun's oppressive heat won't be your constant companion, when food can be more than just a handful of lentils, and a piece of bread, when the river won't be a life-giving force and a destructive one. But those are just dreams. And tomorrow, the sun will rise again, bringing with it the promise of another scorching day. Your day begins and ends in the marketplace, a labyrinth of stalls and people. As you push through the throng, you greet friends and colleagues by name. There's Old Man Hemlock with his baskets of grain, Potter's assistant Lila with her trays of clay, and young Yusuf, who dreams of one day being an architect like his father. Your work takes you all over the city. You might start at a building site where a team of masons are constructing a new home for a wealthy merchant. The owner stands nearby inspecting the progress, his face shaded by a wide-brimmed hat. As the sun climbs higher, you take a break to help a friend unload a cart. The bricks are heavy, and the pile seems to grow ever higher, but there's a certain satisfaction in seeing the wall of their building slowly rise. In the late afternoon, you might find yourself at a granary, its vast storage silos a testament to the city's prosperity. The air is thick with the smell of grain as you unload your bricks. The work is hard, the hours long, but there's a quiet pride that comes with each load you carry, each brick you lay. You are part of something bigger, helping to feed the city, ensuring its continued growth. As the day wanes, you return to the marketplace, your muscles aching, your clothes caked in dust. But there's a new energy in the air. The setting sun paints the sky in hues of orange and purple. Families gather, haggling over fresh fish from the morning's catch or loaves of bread still warm from the oven. The sound of laughter mingles with the shouts of vendors and the murmur of evening prayers. For a moment, you rest, sharing stories and jokes with your companions, the weariness of the day forgotten. Then, as the stars begin to appear, you head home, your footsteps echoing in the quiet streets. The day is done, but tomorrow already waits with its promise of new projects, new challenges, and the quiet satisfaction of a job well done. The sun beats down on your bare arms as you haul another bucket of water up from the well. It's hot, hard work, but the alternative, letting your crops wither and die, is not an option. Not with the tax collectors coming soon to take their share of your meager harvest. You wipe the sweat from your brow, thankful for the shade of the fig tree under which you rest. Its leaves rustle softly in the breeze, and you share a crust of bread with a stray dog that pads softly up to you, its tail between its legs. It's a small comfort, but the dog's bright eyes and gentle nature bring a smile to your face. As the morning wears on, you hear the distant clatter of hammers on stone and the murmur of voices as the city comes to life around you. You're just one of many laborers working to keep the great city running, to keep its baths full and its aqueducts flowing. And as you make your way through the bustling streets, you can't help but feel a sense of pride in the ingenuity of your fellow humans. This city, with its advanced systems of pipes and channels, is a testament to what can be achieved when people work together. But the further you walk, the more aware you become of the weight of your own labor. Every step you take, every bucket of water you haul, every loaf of bread you bake is a reminder that you are a laborer. And the taxes you pay, whether in grain or in labor, are a constant drain on your resources. The threat of illness or injury looms over you like a storm cloud. For in this time and place, there is no safety net to catch you if you fall, no welfare office to turn to for help, no union to protect your rights. You are at the mercy of the whims of the city as overseers and the demands of the market. Still, you push on, driven by the hope of a better day, a day when the sun doesn't beat down so hard, a day when the fig tree's shade is more than a figment of your imagination, a day when the bread you share with the dog is more than a crust, a day when you are more than just a laborer. I'm here with the History Channel. The year is 2800 BCE. You are a laborer in the Indus Valley. Your day begins with the soft sound of a cartwheel and the hum of the marketplace. You are part of a great city, a civilization that will endure for millennia. But for now, it's just another grueling day of carrying clay. The weight of it all, the heat of the sun, the endless tasks, they shape your life. But as we leave this dusty street behind, we see another figure, a trader who travels far beyond the borders of the Indus Valley, carrying its goods to distant lands, forging connections across a vast and perilous world. Their journeys take them through dense forests and over towering mountains, but the rewards are great. The trader is a vital link in a network that stretches from the Himalayas to the Arabian Sea, connecting people and ideas across a vast and changing world. And so the work of the laborer and the trader intertwine to create a civilization that will endure. The sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose. Over the sprawling brickworks of Mohenjo-Daro, the air grows cooler as the day's heat fades into the deepening twilight. Here, amidst the skilled hands that mold the very foundations of the city, we find Ravi, a humble laborer. But as the stars begin to pepper the darkening sky, Ravi's thoughts drift not to the familiar streets of his city, but to the distant lands beyond the desert's edge. For tomorrow, he must set out on a journey that will take him far from the comforting bustle of the marketplace and the protective embrace of Mohenjo-Daro's high walls. His destination, a fabled city whose very name evokes images of opulence and mystery. Lawful, a port city on the Arabian Sea, a gateway to the world beyond the Indus. The idea of such a journey fills Ravi with a mix of excitement and trepidation. It is a test of endurance, a dance with danger that only the most seasoned travelers attempt. But Ravi, with his years of experience navigating the treacherous mountain passes and the scorching desert plains, is no ordinary man. He is a trader by heart and soul, and the call of the open road is one he cannot resist. With the first hint of dawn, Ravi and his companions, a motley crew of merchants and artisans, each with their own tales to tell, begin their trek. Their carts creak under the weight of precious goods, spices, ivory, and textiles, the very essence of the Indus Valley's bounty. The sun climbs higher, turning the desert into a shimmering expanse of gold. The air grows thick with the smell of dust and the lowing of oxen. Ravi wipes the sweat from his brow, sharing silent smiles and nods with his companions, their faces etched with the wisdom of the road. They are a community, bound not just by their shared journey, but by the ancient bonds of trade that have connected the Indus Valley to the world for centuries. As the days turn into weeks, the landscape shifts from the golden desert to the lush greenery of the Western Ghats. The air is thick with the scent of spices and the sound of exotic birds. Through it all, Ravi remains steadfast, his eyes scanning the horizon for signs of trouble, his hands steady on the reins. For the journey to Lothal is fraught with peril, from the scorching heat to the threat of wild animals and the occasional bandit. But Ravi is prepared. His years on the road have taught him the ways of survival in the harshest environments. And besides, he carries with him the blessings of the gods and the hopes of a prosperous trade. Finally, after what seems like an eternity, the familiar sight of the sea appears on the horizon. The salty tang of the ocean breeze fills the air as Ravi and his companions crest the last hill. Before them lies the bustling port city of Lothal, a testament to the power and wealth of the Indus Valley Civilization. The ships from distant lands dotting the horizon, a silent symphony of the world brought to a standstill. In this moment, Ravi feels a surge of pride, not just for himself, but for the civilization. He represents a civilization that has reached out across the seas to create partnerships and friendships that enrich the lives of their people. The sun hasn't risen yet, but Ravi is already up. He lives in a small house made of dried mud bricks, one of many in a neighborhood huddled near the marketplace of Mohenjo-Daro. The great city is silent now, its streets empty and its stalls with their colorful wares all put away for the night. But Ravi can still smell the faint scent of sesame oil from the lamp that burned low outside his door. It's the most wonderful smell in the world to him, a reminder of the warmth and light that bring life to the people of the Indus. He rises from his reed mat and shakes off the sleep that clung to him like a shroud. Another day, another journey. There are seals to deliver, precious cargo that must be carried across hundreds of miles to the great cities of Ur and Susa. He can still make out the shapes of the unicorns that adorn many of the seals in his sack, their single horn a symbol of power and kingship. Some are stamped with an unknown script, their words a mystery, even to Ravi, who has a fine collection of his own. But his knowledge of the script is limited to the few dozen signs he learned as a boy. He knows they hold the secrets of the Indus, its history and culture encoded in clay. And one day, perhaps, someone will decipher them. But today is not that day. He sets his things in order, packs his goods, and wraps them in woven sacks. The clay seals, the indigo dye, and the strings of carnelian beads, their deep red a splash of color against the dull gray of the cart. He ties everything in place and leads his 2 oxen to the city gate. It's always the hardest part, getting the cart through the city and onto the road. But today, as he looks back at the towering protective walls of Mohenjo-Daro, he feels a pang of fear. What lies beyond the horizon? Will the caravan be attacked by bandits or held up by tax collectors? Or worse, will the goods be lost to the unforgiving terrain, the cart overturned, and its precious cargo scattered to the winds? But there is no time to dwell on such thoughts. He has a long journey ahead of him, and the sun climbs higher in the sky. As the cart creaks and groans, he takes up the reins and with a flick of his wrist signals the oxen to move forward. Slowly at first, then faster as they find their rhythm, the wheels of the cart pounding a steady beat against the hard-packed earth. The road stretches before them, a ribbon of brown against the green fields and the blue sky, promising adventure and excitement at every turn. And Ravi, with his sacks of precious cargo, is at its heart. Our story begins along the banks of the Indus River. The water glistens under the rising sun. The path beside it is soft with silt and alive with the buzz of insects. The air is warm, carrying the scent of the river and the sound of splashing fish. Ravi walks beside his cart, his sandals sinking slightly into the silt. The wheels creak a song as old as time, a song of wood and rope and leather. The lowing of his 2 oxen is a steady rhythm, a counterpoint to the song of the wheels. They walk for hours, the river their constant companion, until the river fades behind them and the path hardens into a sea of golden dunes. This is the Tar Desert, endless and unchanging, stretching out before you like a rumpled blanket of gold. The sun climbs higher, the heat pressing against your skin, a weight that doesn't go away even when you try to move. Your eyes squint against the glare of the sun. The air shimmers with mirage, distorting the world into a wavy, shimmering expanse. Ravi's throat grows dry, his tongue heavy in his mouth. He pulls his linen shawl closer, trying to catch the scrap of shade it offers. The scent of dust clings to it, a reminder of the desert's relentless embrace. The clay jars that hold precious water slip and slide in their cart, their contents sloshing gently with each bump in the road. Each jar is a lifeline, a promise of relief from the burning thirst that's beginning to claw at Ravi's throat. And so they walk, man and ox, across the vast canvas of the desert, their silhouettes small and determined against the blazing backdrop of the tar. The sun dips lower, painting the sky in hues of orange and red, and the desert cools, the air turning still and heavy with the scent of sage and sand. As night falls, the temperature drops dramatically, sending a chill through the air. The sky explodes with a million stars, and the vastness of the universe seems to press down on the tiny figures making their way across the desert. The silence is broken only by the crunch of sand beneath their feet and the distant cry of an owl. Here, in the heart of the tar, where the sun rules with an iron fist and the nights are a symphony of stars, Ravi and his oxen keep moving, their journey far from over, their destination still a whisper on the wind. The desert is a cruel mistress. She demands respect and offers no quarter. Travelers like Ravi navigate her scorching embrace with cautious steps, their bodies glistening with sweat, their eyes squinting against the sun's relentless glare. The horizon shimmers with heat waves, blurring the line between sky and sand into a hazy, endless expanse. Days bleed into one another, marked only by the rising and setting of the sun, a monotonous rhythm that tests the limits of human endurance. Yet amidst this harsh reality, life finds a way to persevere. Like the hardy desert plants that burrow their roots deep into the parched earth, so too do the travelers cling to their dreams and their will to survive. They, too, are anchored to the land, bound by invisible threads of hope and resilience. Ravi's caravan consists of weathered men and women, their faces etched with the stories of their journeys, their bodies bearing the scars of the desert's embrace. They move like ghosts through the shimmering landscape, their presence a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. For in this unforgiving terrain, it is the stories that sustain them, the shared laughter and hardships that forge bonds stronger than the desert sands. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, they pitch their tents and gather around a crackling fire. In the flickering light, their faces soften, their eyes reflecting the warmth of the flames. Here, amidst the crackling fire and the star-studded sky, they find solace. The desert may be a place of silence and solitude, but here in this small circle of light, there is companionship, there is shared humanity. For in the desert, it is not just the body that thirsts for water, but the soul too thirsts for connection, for a moment of respite from the scorching winds of isolation. And so they sit around the fire, sharing stories that bind them together, their voices weaving a tapestry of sound in the vast silence of the desert night. I am a storyteller. These are the tales of our sands, and I share them with you from the heart of the desert. If you like this story, please subscribe and share with your friends. Until next time, may your journey be filled with light and your heart with warmth. After weeks of travel, Ravi finally reached the coast. The Arabian Sea was a vast expanse of water that lapped against rocky shores. Here, tall ships were anchored, their hulls laden with cedar from Lebanon and lapis lazuli from Afghanistan. They were waiting for the monsoon winds to turn, to carry them across the sea to the land of Mesopotamia. When Ravi arrived at the marketplace by the sea, he saw boats from distant lands. He heard the chatter of unfamiliar tongues, smelled the tongue of salt in the air, and the clink of shells used as currency. These were the sailors who traded with Mesopotamia. They came here to barter, to trade beads for copper ingots, indigo for wool. Each exchange was a delicate dance of trust and value. The Mesopotamians admired the precision of the seals that Ravi's city made. Their script was a mystery to him, but the traders seemed to like the sound of it. They wanted to know about the city in the desert, where such skilled artisans lived. Ravi felt a surge of pride as he showed them the goods from his city, each one a testament to the skill of its maker. He explained how the beads were made by stringing together tiny stones, each hole drilled with precision to fit the others perfectly. He described the dyeing process for the indigo, how the wool was carefully selected and the cloth soaked overnight in a secret mixture of water and plant extracts to create the perfect shade of blue. The sailors listened intently, their faces a mixture of awe and wonder. They had traveled to many lands, but none had artisans quite like those in Ravi's city. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the marketplace, Ravi felt a pang of sadness. His journey to the coast had been long and arduous, but it had been worth it to see the wonder in the sailors' eyes as they gazed at the products of his city. But now it was time to say goodbye. The sailors would soon be setting sail for home, taking with them a piece of Ravi's city and the stories of its people. As they sailed away, their boats a distant speck on the horizon, Ravi knew that the connections he had made would last long after the sea had claimed their voices. For the sea was vast and unpredictable, and the sailors spoke of storms and pirates that lurked beneath the waves. Their words were a reminder of the fragility of these connections, a stark contrast to the permanence of the desert sands. And so Ravi turned back towards the familiar landscape of the desert, his heart heavy with the knowledge that the sea, in all its vastness, had swallowed the sounds of the distant city. The return journey is no less arduous. Ravi retraces his steps through the desert, his cart now heavier with foreign goods. Fatigue settles into his bones, his feet blistered from endless walking, yet he presses on, driven by the thought of Mohenjo-Daro's familiar streets. There are moments of beauty, two sunrises that paint the dunes in hues of rose and gold, or the laughter of a fellow trader sharing a dried fig by the fire. When Ravi finally sees the brick walls of his city, the relief is profound, like a long-held breath released. He returns to his home, his goods sold, his family fed for another season. But the road has left its mark a quiet strength, a broader view of the world, and a deeper tie to the city he serves. Archaeologists have found many such signs of daily life in the ruins of Harappan cities. They've discovered scales used to weigh out grain, tools used to make pottery, even toys that children might have played with. These everyday objects tell us a great deal about the people who lived in the Indus Valley Civilization. They were skilled craftspeople, creative thinkers, and innovative problem solvers. Just like Ravi, they had a keen understanding of their environment. They knew how to harness the power of the monsoon winds and create ingenious irrigation systems to water their crops. They also knew how to adapt to the harsh realities of living in a desert and could build sturdy homes that could withstand the scorching heat and the occasional flood. But not all was idyllic in this ancient world. Sometimes the mighty rulers of the Indus Valley went to war. Archaeologists have found evidence of battles in places like the city of Kalibangan. They've uncovered broken weapons and defensive walls that suggest a city under siege. And in the royal palaces, they've found the skeletons of men, women, and children who may have been killed in acts of violence. Despite these hardships, the people of the Indus Valley kept going. They continued to innovate and adapt until their civilization thrived for centuries. Their achievements in things like urban planning, sanitation, and public works were unparalleled in the ancient world. As we explore more of the Indus Valley Civilization, we're constantly amazed by the ingenuity and resilience of the people who lived there. People like Ravi, the fictional merchant, embody the spirit of this civilization. Through his story, we can see how the people of the Indus Valley connected with each other and with the world around them. We can also see how they adapted to the challenges they faced, and how they created a society that was both innovative and sustainable. But there's still much that we don't know about the Indus Valley Civilization. One of the biggest mysteries is their script. Archaeologists have found thousands of seals and other artifacts inscribed with a script that we haven't been able to decipher. This makes it difficult to learn about the culture and history of the civilization. But that mystery only adds to the intrigue of the Indus Valley Civilization. It reminds us that there's still so much to discover about our world, and that the past is full of surprises. As we continue to explore the ruins of ancient cities, let's keep in mind the quiet courage of the people who live there. Let's marvel at their ingenuity and their resilience, and be inspired by their achievements. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll uncover the secrets of their script and learn even more about their fascinating way of life. Meanwhile, let's take a moment to appreciate the legacy of the Indus Valley Civilization. Let us think about the ways that they shaped our world and the lessons we can learn from their example. Then let's go out into the world and make our own contributions to the story of humanity. The Great Pyramids of Giza, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the Colossus of Rhodes, these are the relics of human ambition, monuments to a time when pharaohs ruled like gods and trade thrived along the Silk Road. Yet amidst these tales of grandeur and conquest, there exists an enigma that has resisted the passage of time, the lost script of the Indus Valley Civilization. As we traverse the ancient paths of the Harappan trader, let us pause and listen to the soft susurrus of a gentle breeze whispering through the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro. Imagine the faint scratch of a stylus on clay, etching out shapes that held profound meaning for a civilization long gone. These are not the grand pronouncements of a conquering hero, but the quiet marks left by an artisan at work. Picture yourself standing amidst the towering granaries and bustling marketplaces of Harappa, a city where life once flowed like the nearby Ravi River. Now shift your gaze to the artifacts of this forgotten realm, the clay seals and stone tablets, adorned with a script as cryptic to us as the stars in the night sky. For over 3,000 years, these symbols have echoed the questions of countless scholars. A silent chorus asking, "Can you decipher the script of the Indus Valley Civilization?" Yet even in their silence, these artifacts offer a glimpse into the heart of one of the world's earliest civilizations. Here in the midst of the arid Indus Valley, a society flourished with the complexity of its layout rivaling the great cities of the ancient world. But while we marvel at the architectural brilliance of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, let us not overlook the more subtle wonders that whisper from the past. It is in the seemingly mundane objects of daily life, the humble clay seals and tablets, that we find the essence of this civilization. These are not relics of war or conquest, but fragments of everyday existence, akin to the pottery and tools of a bygone era. Each inscription is a clue, each symbol a piece of a shattered puzzle. And though we may not yet know the language of the Indus Valley script, we can appreciate the artistry of those who crafted it. For what are these markings, if not an expression of creativity, a means of communicating ideas and transactions in a world without paper or screens? In the hands of a skilled artisan, clay and stone become canvases, and the stylus transforms into a brush, painting the world with strokes of meaning. As we trace these markings, let us marvel at the patience and skill required to create them, for they are testaments to a time when human ingenuity knew no bounds. So come, dear traveler, and lose yourself in the labyrinthine wonders of the Indus Valley Civilization. Let the echoes of its script resonate within you, a reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved, for in the unknown there is beauty. They were called the Indus people. They lived 4,000 years ago in what is now Pakistan and northwest India. They built great cities, not just one but many, all laid out according to a grid plan with astonishing precision. Their houses had running water and bathrooms. Their craftsmen made exquisite jewelry out of gold and silver. And yet, despite all this, we know next to nothing about them. They left behind no written records, no monumental statues, no works of art. The only clue to their way of life are these tiny seals. In this episode, we're going to try to read them. We do not know exactly what these symbols mean, because the Indus people never gave us a key to their script. But we do have some clues. We know, for instance, that this seal, which looks like a unicorn, also has a human face carved into it. The animal seems to be a male, and the human seems to be female. So maybe the seal is a kind of signature, a way of signing a document. Just like today, people might put their initials at the end of a letter. But instead of writing their name, they would press their seal into a lump of clay, like this one. The Indus people used these seals in all aspects of their lives. They stamped them into clay tablets to keep track of goods being traded. They put them on their cattle to mark their territory. They even attached them to the legs of their chairs. That tells us something about their culture. All of these mundane tasks required a high degree of social organization. In order to keep track of who owned what, everyone would need to agree on what these symbols meant. This suggests society with a strong central authority, perhaps even a state. But there was more to these seals than record keeping. Some of them seemed to be amulets, small charms to ward off evil spirits. This one, for instance, has a tiny hole drilled into it. It could be hung from a necklace or woven into a bracelet. Then there are the bricks. Across the Indus cities, archaeologists have found thousands of mud bricks stamped with these same symbols. They may have been used as building material, but they also served as a kind of billboard, announcing to the world who was in charge. And in some cases, they tell us the name of the owner. This one, for instance, reads Harappan. The name comes from the city of Harappa, one of the first cities uncovered by archaeologists. We think of it as a lost civilization, but it's important to remember that it wasn't just one city, but many. There was Lawful, Dalavira, Kalibangan, all connected by a common culture and a common script. Over time, the mystery of the script has driven people mad. Some have claimed it contains the lost language of Atlantis. Others have said it proves the ancient Egyptians came from India. But most scholars are coming around to the idea that it simply doesn't make sense to force a foreign meaning onto these symbols. Perhaps the best we can hope for is a deeper understanding of the Indus people and their way of life. What do these ancient seals from the Indus Valley tell us about the people who made them? In the 1920s, archaeologists first unearthed these seals in the ruins of Harappa and Dalavira. Their discoveries stirring a quiet excitement. Unlike any other script, it consists of brief sequences, sometimes just a few signs, sometimes a dozen etched with care into the soft clay tablets. Picture the scribe who made them. Perhaps he's seated in a shaded courtyard, the air heavy with the smell of drying clay. His tools are simple, a bone or bronze stylus, its point sharp enough to carve clean lines. The seals were used in trade, pressed into soft clay to mark goods or seal jars, a testament to the sophisticated economy of the Indus Valley. But what do the symbols mean? Were they the names of merchants, records of grain or other commodities, invocations to deities? The question lingers, soft and unhurried, like the flow of the Indus River itself. What secrets do these ancient symbols hold? What stories could they tell if we only knew how to read them? This is a seal that was excavated in 2023 from a Harappan site. It's made of steatite, a soft stone that takes a high polish when worked. Look closely, and you can see all these tiny scratches, little marks made by the tool that carved this design. When it was found, it was lying on its side in a layer of burnt clay. Right beside it were animal bones and other artifacts from the same time period. The archaeologists carefully brushed away the dirt and uncovered the design on the front. Some scholars believe that these signs make up a full language, a system of writing like the cuneiform of Mesopotamia. Each sign could represent a sound or a word. Others think it's a set of symbols, maybe clan symbols, or symbols for goods or rituals. What do you think? What could this design be? Tell me in the comments. Imagine the workshop where seals like these were carved. The air is thick with the dust of ground stone, and the faint clink of tools echoes through the narrow alleys. Each seal is a tiny work of art, a miniature masterpiece. Here in Dalavira, a massive stone inscription was found. It has 10 signs carved in bold relief, as if meant to proclaim something to the city. Was it a ruler's name? Was it the rules for a market? Was it a prayer to some unseen forces? We don't know because we haven't deciphered the script yet. Having a bilingual text like the Rosetta Stone would make the process much easier, but we don't have that here. So the answer remains just out of reach, a gentle tease to our curiosity. Thanks for watching. Do share this video with your friends and let them fall in love with Indian archaeology, history, and culture. See you next time. Ancient Indian cities are full of archaeological finds that offer clues to life 4,000 years ago. But they also raise a lot of questions. In the port city of Lawful, archaeologists found these seals alongside weights and measures, suggesting a system of trade precise as the city's grid of streets. Imagine the docks there, bustling with activity as boats creaked under the weight of cotton and beads. The air would be filled with the scent of salt and fish. And some seals show us elephants, rhinos, and other mythical creatures, possibly sacred animals paired with the script. They could be stories or beliefs that we can only guess at. Were these animals gods? Were they symbols of wealth? In Harappa, archaeologists found this tiny seal with a figure seated in meditation, surrounded by animals. The script beside it is brief and cryptic. It could be a name, a title, or a blessing, but its silence echoes through time. These seals may be small, but they're giving us a big mystery to solve. What do you think these seals could tell us about the people who made them? Share your thoughts below. These people were not kings, at least not in the way we think of kings. They weren't born to rule. They earned it. That's right. In the bustling city of Mohenjo-Daro, there was a promotion system. Yep, you heard me right. Back in 2600 BC, the rulers of the Indus Valley were elected, not inherited. Now, where did these rulers hang out? You know, when they weren't busy ruling. They preferred to chill in the citadel, which was like the VIP section of the city. Surrounded by high walls for privacy and protection, it had everything from fancy baths to great granaries, even dedicated bathrooms for men and women. Yeah, they were all about that separation. But let's talk about their toys, shall we? These guys loved their toys. They had these tiny figurines, some just a few inches tall. They probably doubled as good luck charms for their important journeys. Some were made to look like bearded men, while others resembled female deities. And guess what? They weren't just for decoration. They actually believed these figurines could take on human form, becoming priests or even rulers. Kind of like a real-life version of Harry Potter's animagus. Now, enough about their beliefs. Let's focus on something they really, really loved, their baths. I mean, these people were obsessed with baths. Every house had one, and they even built public bathhouses in their cities. But why were they so into baths? Well, they didn't have running water like we do now, so they had to heat their water over a fire. And let's face it, heating water is thirsty work. So after a long day of tending to fields or, being a ruler, they could relax and enjoy a nice, hot bath. Speaking of rulers, remember how they got elected? Well, it wasn't like a popularity contest. They had to follow some pretty strict rules to qualify. For one, they couldn't be older than 50. And if they had any health issues, they were out of luck. Plus, they had to be male, since women were only allowed to be priestesses or rulers in rare cases. Lastly, let's talk about their toilets. They had separate ones for men and women, with the women's toilets located near the public baths. Talk about convenience. But here's the real kicker. Archaeologists found 7 toilets in the citadel, but not a single one in the rest of the city. So if you were an ordinary Joe in Mohenjo-Daro, you didn't get to enjoy that luxury. Only the elite did. As we wrap up our journey through the fascinating lives of the elites in Mohenjo-Daro, let us not forget the skilled laborers and diligent traders who made this remarkable city thrive. From the humble brickmaker to the savvy merchant, their contributions are the threads that weave together the rich tapestry of Indus Valley civilization. Just as the elites enjoyed the comforts of their well-planned city, so too did the common folk benefit from its grand avenues, public baths, and efficient drainage systems. The bustling markets of Mohenjo-Daro were not only centers of trade, but also vibrant community spaces where people from all walks of life came together. It was a place where the elite could mingle with the masses, sharing stories and forging connections that transcended social boundaries. In the grand tapestry of history, it's easy to overlook the contributions of ordinary people. Yet it was their collective efforts that truly made Mohenjo-Daro an extraordinary feat of urban planning and societal organization. The laborers who toiled to build the city as impressive structures, and the traders who kept its markets vibrant and supplied its people with essential goods, were integral to its success. They were the backbone of the city, working tirelessly to maintain its grandeur and ensure its continued prosperity. We've been exploring the mysterious symbols of the Indus script, but up here in the quiet of the citadel, there's a different kind of story unfolding. The rush of water from the nearby canal is a constant whisper. Can you hear it? As we walk among the ruins, the soft murmur of the city seems to fade away, leaving only the gentle rustle of palm leaves and the echo of our footsteps on the ancient ramparts. High above the bustling streets, the elite of Mohenjo-Daro lived a different kind of life. Their days were likely filled with ceremony and leisure rather than backbreaking labor. In the grand courtyards, they oversaw the construction projects that shaped the city below. They may have even conducted rituals at the sacred pool, a place of healing and purification. But as we explore these magnificent ruins, it's important to remember the stark contrast between life in the citadel and life in the city. For while the elite enjoyed a life of privilege, the vast majority of people living in Mohenjo-Daro were not so fortunate. So who were these enigmatic rulers, and what secrets did they hold? Imagine yourself standing at the edge of the citadel, a broad mound elevated above the city's grid-like streets. The air here is cooler, carrying the faint scent of lotus flowers and sesame oil from lamps that burn through the night. The elite of Mohenjo-Daro, overseers, priests, or master traders, live in spacious homes. Their walls are thicker and smoother than the laborers' humble dwellings below. Picture one such home, its flat roof offering shade, its rooms arranged around a private courtyard where a small well provides fresh water, a luxury unimaginable to those hauling buckets from shared wells below. The floors are packed earth, swept clean, and the walls are adorned with simple patterns, perhaps painted in ochre or white, catching the sunlight in soft, muted hues. Below the citadel, life goes on as it always has. Merchants hawk their wares, priests tend to their sacred fire, and the faithful come to bathe in the great bath, their footsteps echoing in the stillness. But here, in this quiet oasis, there is only the soft sound of water lily opening and closing, and the gentle lapping of the water against the stone edges. It is a place of power and tranquility, a refuge from the bustling world below. Your day as one of the elite begins gently. The soft trickle of water from a clay jar as a servant prepares your morning meal. You awake in a house built from sun-baked bricks, its interior courtyard a sanctuary of cool shade and tranquil water features. The food is richer than the laborer's fare. Flatbreads drizzled with ghee, bowls of lentils spiced with cumin, and fresh figs or dates plucked from nearby orchards. You eat slowly, savoring the flavors, knowing that every ingredient has been brought here by merchants traveling from far-off lands. You pull on a finely woven cotton robe. Its edges are dyed with indigo, a color prized for its depth and rarity. Around your neck, you hang necklaces of carnelian and agate beads, their polished surfaces cool against your skin. These ornaments, crafted with care, are not just adornments, but symbols of your status. They are traded across vast distances and would be treasured in the city's bustling markets. As you step into the courtyard, the air is alive with the chirping of birds and the distant murmur of the city waking below. Your servants fan you gently, their rhythmic movements a soothing drone as you take in the peaceful scene. In the distance, the faint outline of mountains is tinged with the first blush of sunlight. Closer to home, the fronds of palm trees sway lazily in the gentle breeze, their shadows dancing on the ground like playful spirits. A fountain nearby gurgles softly, its water cascading over smooth stones before disappearing into the thirsty earth. This moment of tranquility, however, is not to last. Soon the clamor of the marketplace will rise, and with it the pulse of the city, the insistent calls of vendors, the haggling of customers, the clanging of metal from the blacksmith's shop, all blend into a vibrant symphony that heralds another busy day in the heart of the city. And now it's time for you to play your part in this grand spectacle. What will your contribution be? Will you lend your voice to the chorus of the city, or will you add a new melody of your own? The choice, as always, is yours. The elite's courtyard is a place of quiet luxury. Here, in the shade of a colonnaded veranda, you sit upon a cushioned stool, idly adjusting a necklace of polished bone and colorful beads. In the still air, the tinkling of a fountain is the only sound that breaks the peaceful quiet. Before you, a clay jar stands filled with fragrant oil, its surface cool and smooth beneath your fingertips. Beside it, a small well offers fresh water, its bucket suspended by a rope, pulley, and a wooden beam. Beyond the courtyard walls, the bustling city carries on, but here all is calm. Clean lines define the space, delicate tracery adorns the walls, and the play of light and shadow adds a touch of drama to the serene scene. As you sit there, lost in thought, the image of the city's heart, the great bath, drifts into your mind. It beckons you with the promise of cleansing and renewal, a place where the body and spirit find their equilibrium. Standing up, you leave the courtyard, your white robe billowing around you like a cloud, and make your way to the bath. The closer you get, the more you hear the rhythmic splashing of water and the murmur of voices. Then you see it, a vast rectangular pool, its edges adorned with baked bricks. The water within is still and reflective, a mirror to the azure sky above. You pause at the top of the stone steps, leading down to the pool, and take off your sandals. Their soft leather uppers and woven soles are carefully set aside, revealing the intricate network of drains beneath the bath. These channels, marvels of ancient engineering, ensure the water's purity, channeling away impurities and replenishing the pool with fresh water from the well. The air here is heavy with dampness, mingling with the scent of herbs burned in the sacred fires nearby. All around you, workers tend to the bath, keeping it ready for the rituals of purification that will soon begin. Some scrub the steps with a rough brush, while others polish the drains to make them gleam. And yet the whole place remains hushed, the solemnity of the space settling over you like a gentle weight. With a deep breath, you begin your descent into the cool water, leaving behind the noise and dust of the city, surrendering yourself to the cleansing embrace of the great bath. I hope you enjoyed this elite's courtyard. If you want to learn more about ancient history, stay tuned. The weight of the city is on your shoulders. Every day you meet with traders, inspecting their seals and weights to make sure they're being fair in their exchanges. You decide what goods are allowed into the city and what goods leave. It's a lot of responsibility, but someone's got to do it. You mediate disputes between merchants. Voices are low but firm as you ensure the city runs smoothly. You watch over the distribution of resources, making sure everyone has what they need, especially during the lean seasons when the Indus River isn't giving the city its lifeblood. There's always the threat of floods or drought, but you take comfort in knowing that your home is safe. It has a private bathing area and a shaded rooftop where you can sit in the evenings, sipping barley beer and watching the city's lights flicker below. It's a hard life, but someone's got to do it. Are you up to the task? The elite's world is one of relative ease, but it is also one of responsibility. You oversee the city's order, its streets kept clean, its granaries filled, its rituals observed. The laborers below depend on your decisions, just as you depend on their toil. At night, you retire to your courtyard, where a servant lights a lamp, its flame casting gentle shadows across the walls. The city hums softly beyond, a living tapestry of effort and ingenuity. As you lie down, the coolness of the night air wraps around you, and the distant sound of water from the great bath lulls your thoughts to sleep. This is the life of the Indus elite, structured, privileged, and tied to the heartbeat of the city. Scene: the camera is placed on the ground facing up at the ruins of the citadel of Mohenjo-Daro. The shot is slowly rotated to reveal the vastness of the site. Soft music swells. The citadel of Mohenjo-Daro, with its ordered spaces and quiet rituals, stands in stark contrast to the laborer's dusty toil and the trader's perilous journeys. As we leave this elevated world, let us prepare to reflect on the broader tapestry of the Indus Valley Civilization, a society of remarkable complexity that lingers in our dreams. Look around you. What do you see? You see the remnants of a civilization that thrived 4,500 years ago, a society that had its own unique culture and way of life. They had their own language, their own religion, their own art and architecture. And yet, despite all this, somehow they managed to keep their identity hidden from us for so many years. It wasn't until the early 20th century that archaeologists began to uncover the secrets of this ancient civilization. And even then, it took many years to piece together the fragments of their history. So what was life like here all those years ago? How did these people live? What did they do for fun? And most importantly, why did they build such a huge city in the middle of nowhere? Join me as we explore the mysteries of the Indus Valley Civilization. We'll travel to the heart of their empire and discover the secrets of their culture. We'll meet the people who lived here and learn about their way of life. And we'll uncover the mysteries of their religion and their beliefs. But before we begin, I have a question for you. What do you think life was like here all those years ago? What do you think the people of the Indus Valley Civilization were like? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe for more updates. Now let us go back in time and explore the secrets of one of the world's oldest civilizations. The camera continues to rotate, revealing the vastness of the site. The music swells and then fades out. The year is 2500 BCE. The Indus flows ceaselessly towards the sea, carrying with it the silt and soil of 1,000 hills. Its waters nourish a land that cradles one of the world's first great civilizations. Here, in the heart of the Indus Valley, life unfolds in a rhythm as steady as the river's flow. In the bustling city of Mohenjo-Daro, the elite shape the rhythm of public life. They plan the layout of their citadel, a grid of streets and houses laid out with the precision of a compass. Their artisans craft exquisite jewelry from gold and silver, their looms weaving intricate patterns that rival the Indus River's delta. And in the public baths, they keep the fires burning, not just for warmth, but to drive out disease and purify the body and the soul. Yet as we wander through the cool courtyards of this great citadel, let us not forget the world outside these high walls. For there, along the dusty trade routes, the rhythm of life is shaped by the harsh sun and the endless horizon. Here, merchants and traders brave the heat and the bandits, carrying goods from the farthest reaches of the subcontinent. And in their hands, the fate of empires rests on the monsoon winds and the endurance of men. And further still, along the muddy banks of the Indus, toiling hands shape the mud and brick, building the very foundations of this civilization. These are the laborers who, with calloused hands and aching backs, create the homes and the temples that dot the landscape. And their work is a testament to the quiet endurance that has always defined the human spirit. The secrets of the Indus Valley Civilization are many. Its script, a mystery yet to be deciphered, its language, a whisper from a forgotten past. Yet amidst the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro and the whispers of an ancient tongue, the rhythm of life echoes through the ages. It is a rhythm born of the Indus River's eternal flow, a rhythm that speaks of a people who, like the river, flowed with the currents of life, adapting, enduring, and ever seeking new shores. As the sun sets over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and red, let us carry the spirit of the Indus within us. Let its enduring legacy be a reminder of our own strength and resilience. For in the grand tapestry of human history, the threads of the Indus Valley Civilization are woven in a timeless pattern, a pattern of adaptation, innovation, and the ceaseless flow of life. Imagine for a moment that you are standing on the banks of the Indus River as twilight begins to fall. The sun is setting behind the tall buildings of Mohenjo-Daro, the ancient city. The sky is filled with stars, and the air is still and quiet. In the distance, you can hear the lapping of the water against the shore. In front of you is the Great Bath, a large pool filled with water from the Indus River. It was used for religious rituals and bathing. Around you are the ruins of homes, shops, and temples, all made of baked brick and decorated with intricate patterns. You can see the remnants of a bustling marketplace where merchants from all over the ancient world came to trade. As you walk through the city, you see the faces of laborers, their hands worn and dirty from working in the fields or making bricks. They built these great cities that stood for centuries, shaping the landscape and the lives of those who lived there. You also see the faces of traders, some with turbans on their heads, others with elaborate hairstyles. They traveled across deserts and seas to bring goods to the city. They had to be brave and resourceful to survive the journey, but they were rewarded with riches beyond their wildest dreams. And then there are the faces of the script, silent yet enduring, carved into clay tablets or etched onto stone. They hold secrets that we may never unlock, a reminder that so much of the past remains just out of our grasp. We can see the faces of the elite, the rulers and priests who lived in the city. They wore fine clothes and jewelry, and performed elaborate rituals to keep the city running smoothly. Their lives were a delicate balance of privilege and duty, and they had to be careful to uphold the traditions of their ancestors. As you continue your journey through the city, you realize that each of these faces is connected to the others. The laborers and traders, the script and the elite, they were all part of a single civilization that thrived in harmony with its rivers. The people were bound together by a shared rhythm of survival and creation, and their lives played out against the backdrop of the mighty Indus. The sun dips below the horizon, and the great bath reflects the fading light like a shattered mirror. The tall buildings of Mohenjo-Daro stand silhouetted against the starry sky, silent witnesses to the passage of time. The gentle lapping of the river seems to carry the echoes of the city's inhabitants, reminding us that their story, like the Indus, continues to flow through the ages. Step into the heart of the bustling city. Around you, life unfolds in a vibrant tapestry of sights, sounds, and smells. In the distance, The rhythmic clang of a blacksmith's hammer echoes the steady flow of traffic on the roads below. The air is alive with the scent of freshly baked bread from the bakery down the street, mingling with the earthy aroma of spices and herbs sold by the market vendor. The rich tapestry of colors catches your eye, from the brilliant hues of textiles to the warm glow of clay pots on display. A group of children at play erupt into laughter, their voices ringing with joy. Their game, a timeless ritual of tag, transcends the boundaries of language and time, reminding you of the universal language of childhood. An old man sitting nearby watches them with a knowing smile, his eyes twinkling with shared memories of his own youth. He seems to embody the wisdom of ages, his weathered hands telling tales of a life well lived. The energy of the city is palpable, a vibrant mix of industry, trade, and daily life. Merchants from far-off lands share stories and laughter over cups of spiced tea, their voices carrying tales of distant cities and exotic adventures. A young mother cradling a baby pauses to admire a street performer as nimble fingers dancing on a rope. In that moment, you feel a sense of community, a shared humanity that binds all these people together, their lives interwoven in the rich fabric of this ancient world. As the sun begins its slow descent, the sky takes on hues of orange and purple, painting a breathtaking backdrop to this bustling scene. The day's work is coming to a close, but the spirit of Mohenjo-Daro lingers, promising a night filled with music, storytelling, and the warmth of companionship around a flickering fire. For a brief moment, you are part of this world, connected to its people, its energy, and its timeless spirit. And when it's time to leave, you carry a piece of its magic with you, a reminder of the beauty and wonder of this ancient city. The sun, a pale ghost behind the jagged teeth of the Andes, filters down in weak rays that struggle to warm the frost-kissed stone. Our farmer, his face creased with the lines of a life lived under the cold stare of the mountains, pulls his homespun cloak tighter. Dawn breaks over the Altiplano, the high plains that cradle the sacred city of Cusco, the heart of the Inca Empire. Below him, the valley spreads like a wrinkled blanket, stitched together with silver threads of river. The air is crisp, carrying the scent of sage and the distant rumble of a waterfall tumbling down the mountainside. He stokes the small fire before him, coaxing it to life with dried grasses. Soon, the meager flames will be strong enough to boil the thin mountain stream he collected last evening, transforming it into a steaming brew that can chase away the morning's chill. Life here in the shadow of the Andes is a hard one. The soil, though blessed by the purifying snows from the mountains, is a thin layer over rock. And clay, clinging to the slopes as if afraid to tumble down into the abyss below. Crops wither quickly, and the nights are long and freezing. But the people endure, drawing strength from the empire that binds them together. He thinks of the great paved roads, the ones that wound like a spider's thread through the mountains, connecting the far reaches of the empire. He has traveled them many times, laden with the tribute the Inca demanded, a portion of every harvest, woven into fine textiles, each thread a prayer for good fortune. In exchange, the Inca gave them tools of copper and steel, sharp and shiny, so different from the stone tools their fathers used. And there were seeds, hardy grains from the south, and potatoes from the north, the staff of life in these unforgiving lands. As the steam curls skyward, tugging at the poncho on his back, heavy with potatoes and maize, he sets out for the day's work. The fields wait, the animals need tending, and the cycle of life on the Altiplano must continue. The Inca may have their grand plans to extend their rule to the ends of the earth, but here, at the edge of the empire, he finds solace in the small things: the feel of the sun on his skin, the taste of hot broth on his lips, and the knowledge that he is part of something larger than himself. An empire that, like the mountains that cradle it, reaches for the heavens. And now for a journey through time. Come, gather close. Feel the crisp air on your skin, the chill of dawn mist in the valleys of Peru. You are an Andean farmer. For days, you have labored on the terraced fields, clinging to the steep slopes high above the clouds. Your muscles ache, yet there is satisfaction in the rhythm of your work. Each rock you move, each furrow you dig, is a prayer to the mountains, a song to the sun. You dream of a life of ease, but the Inca Empire has vast network of roads, and the demands of the storehouses keep you ever busy. Then one day, a new road is built, a straight and level path leading from the mountains to the heart of the empire. Soon, the farmer's life will change forever. For from a small village on the shores of Lake Titicaca, a new leader has risen. His name is Pachacati. He dreams of a great empire, a world of order and justice, where the mountains touch the sky and the people live in peace. In just a few decades, Pachacuti's armies have grown from a few hundred men to tens of thousands. His engineers have mapped the stars and the constellations. His artisans are casting giant statues of gods and kings. His priests chant the prophecies of the mountaintops. Soon, the Inca king will set his eyes on the hidden valley of Machu Picchu. There a new capital will be built, a city in the clouds where the sun and the stars align. There are other journeys in this world, too. Along the shore of Lake Titicaca, a young man prepares for his own travels. He carries a llama by the reins, his staff, and a pouch of coca leaves. He, too, dreams of a grander life, a world beyond the lake. With the setting sun, he will leave his home and start his journey over the Andes. But for now, the mountains are silent. Only the wind stirs through the clouds, carrying the faint sound of a distant pan flute. In the stillness of this ancient world, the stars begin their slow turn. High in the peaks, the snow reflects the Milky Way. Below, in the valleys, the farmer rests beneath the watchful gaze of the mountains. The Inca king sleeps in his palace of gold, dreaming of a world yet to be conquered. And on the shores of the lake, the traveler awaits the first light of dawn, when he will set out to find his fortune in the cities of the East. Here, in the heart of the Andes, the spirits of the mountains, the earth and the stars are woven into the very fabric of existence. Here, time moves at the pace of nature, slow and steady, like the hands of a clock. The sun, your constant companion, is a life-giving deity that demands respect. You pause to greet Inti, the sun god, with a prayer on your lips and a silver pendant depicting his sacred rays around your neck. Life here is hard, but it is good. Your fields, carefully terraced into the hillside, provide sustenance for your family and the empire. You are part of a vast network of farmers, each playing a vital role in feeding the Inca people. Your tools, a sharp obsidian blade and a wooden hoe, are simple, yet they are extensions of your body, allowing you to coax life from the stony soil. Each movement is precise, each cut purposeful. Sweat beads on your brow, mingling with the dust of 1,000 plows. The rhythm of your work is punctuated by the bleating of llamas, their soft fleece a comforting presence as they graze nearby. Their dung, used as fertilizer, enriches the soil, ensuring bountiful harvests. In the distance, the sound of a flute drifts through the air, carried on the wind from a distant village. It's a signal, a reminder that you are part of something larger than yourself. The Inca Empire, under the watchful eye of the Sepa Inca, the embodiment of the divine on earth, stretches as far as the horizon, its boundaries marked by snow-capped peaks and distant thundering waterfalls. The empire is a tapestry woven with the threads of many cultures, each contributing to the richness of the whole. The empire is strong, its power growing like the vines that cling to the mountainsides. But whispers of change, of a new force rising in the east, carried by Spanish conquistadors, reach even your remote corner of the empire. You sense that the world, like the seasons, is in constant flux, and your heart, though rooted in tradition, beats with a touch of apprehension for what the future may hold. As the sun begins its slow descent, casting long shadows across the terraced hills, you feel a deep sense of satisfaction. Another day's work done, another step closer to providing for your family and the empire. The sky turns the color of a ripening tomato, then deepens to the rich purple of the twilight sky. The air cools, bringing a welcome respite from the day's heat. You gather with your family, sharing stories and laughter around a fire that crackles merrily, fueled by the day's harvest and dreams of the empire's prosperity. The stars, like scattered diamonds, begin to appear in the darkening sky, and the Milky Way stretches across the heavens, a reminder of the vastness of the universe and your place within it. In the flickering firelight, you sense not just the warmth of the flames, but the warmth of family and community, bound together by the shared experience of a day's work, the hopes for a bountiful harvest, and the enduring spirit of the Inca people. And as the night deepens and the fire burns low, you know that tomorrow will bring a new dawn, a new set of challenges, and the promise of another day in the life of an Inca farmer. You are an Andean farmer, your life as old as the mountains that cradle you. Step onto the terrace, a narrow strip of land carved into the mountainside. Its soil is held in place by stone walls, patiently built by your grandparents, by their grandparents before them. The ground is dusted with frost, crunching softly under your sandals. The air smells of cold earth and the sharp green scent of quinoa plants. In the distance, a river carves its way through the valley below. A solitary llama pauses to graze, its bells tinkling like wind chimes. You grip a chaquitacla, a digging stick made of wood, its end worn smooth from years of use. It's a tool that has been with your people since before recorded history, used for planting and digging, a silent partner in the endless cycle of the seasons. With each turn of the stick, you drive it into the soil, your muscles straining as you break up the hardened earth. The potatoes you planted last season are ready to harvest. The new growth will come later. In this high, thin air, the work is slow. Your breath comes out in short gasps, but the sun, though not yet high, already warms your back. Each terrace is a testament to your people's ingenuity, a marvel of engineering and balance, allowing them to farm on the steep slopes of the Andes. But the labor is relentless. The slope is unforgiving, and the threat of frost or drought, a constant worry at the back of your mind. Still, you have planted. Now the work is done. You must wait for the rains, for the sun to bless your crops with warmth, for the potatoes to grow large and the maize to ripen. You are an Andean farmer, your life as old as the mountains that cradle you. The rhythm of the seasons is in your blood, in the calluses of your hands, in the way you read the clouds gathering on the horizon. You are one with the land, your fate intertwined with the crops that cover these ancient terraces. Your days are long and hard, but the rhythm of your life is tied to the seasons and the empire's demands. You are a farmer, and the empire needs food. You plant and harvest maize, potatoes, and quinoa, feeding the millions who live within the empire's borders. The soil is rich and the yields are plentiful, but there is always more work to be done. You pause to wipe sweat from your brow. Your hands are rough and stained with soil. And in the distance, you see the smoke rising from your neighbors' fields. They, too, are working the land, their figures small against the vastness of the Andes. In the distance, you hear the faint bleating of llamas, carrying goods along the stone paths. Their hooves kicking up dust, the sound echoing in the vast emptiness that surrounds you. When the sun climbs higher in the sky, you seek shelter in the shade of a rock. Your meal is simple, a bowl of quinoa stew, thick and warm, or a handful of dried llama meat, chewy and salted. It offers little nourishment, but it sustains you through the day. The taste of home-cooked meals, a real luxury for the weekends when you can return to the warmth of your family and the embrace of your llama. Water, when it comes, is a precious gift, carried in a clay jug from a mountain stream. Its coolness a fleeting relief against the day's heat. You take a sip, letting the water trickle down your throat and quench your thirst. You are a farmer, and the land is your lifeblood. The seasons dictate your work, the rains your sweat, the sun your toil. But even as the days grow longer and the shadows stretch, you take comfort in the rhythm of your life, the bleating of llamas, the distant rumble of the empire, a constant reminder of your place in the world. The empire shapes your days in ways beyond the land. You owe labor to the Inca state, a tax known as Meager, which might call you to repair roads or build storehouses. Failure to meet these demands risks punishment, a quiet pressure that lingers in your thoughts. The community helps. Neighbors work together to plant or harvest, their voices carrying softly across the terraces. Yet the work is unending. Your body aches from dawn till dusk, and the fear of a bad harvest, when potatoes rot or frost kills the maize, hangs heavy. When the Spanish came, they found a thriving culture with skilled artisans, goldsmiths, weavers, all contributing to the grandeur of the empire. But this prosperity had its price. The state demanded a hefty tribute of goods and services from each community. As a farmer, you have paid your mida in the form of labor, working not only on your own field, but also on public projects, building the great walls and temples that define the landscape. Now the Spanish are here, and they, too, have needs. The empire is vast, and there is work to be done. The officials require porters to carry goods, to carry supplies to the far reaches of the holdings. It is dangerous work, but someone must do it. The threat of violence hangs over you, a constant reminder that you are not free to simply ignore the demands made upon you. You are a cog in a machine, a piece of the empire's vast machinery, and you are needed. The penalty for non-compliance is severe, and the memory of those who have been punished serves as a warning to those who would defy the system. But life is not solely about toil and danger. There is beauty here, too. The Andes are a source of both hardship and wonder, their slopes adorned with terraces that hold the promise of sustenance. In the midst of this challenging existence, life goes on. The seasons change, the crops grow, and the cycle of life continues. The soil provides, and the people endure, adapting to the challenges that come their way. One such challenge is illness. A fever can strike, leaving you weak and unable to work. The Spanish brought new diseases that ravaged the indigenous population. With limited access to healthcare, the community relies on the knowledge of healers who use herbs and remedies passed down through generations to treat ailments. The mountains are revered as the home of spirits, and many turn to prayer and rituals to seek the intercession of these higher powers. It is a precarious existence, shaped by the whims of nature and the demands of a powerful state. But amidst the struggle for survival, life persists. The human spirit, it seems, is as resilient as the crops that cling to the mountainside, as unyielding as the terraces that have been carved into the Andes. The life of an Andean farmer is hard. You work from before the sun rises to when it sets, planting, weeding, and digging the steep slopes of the mountains. You and your fellow villagers have been farming these hillsides for generations. Your terraces a marvel of stone and dirt, holding back the earth and making crops possible in the thin mountain air. There are moments of quiet beauty, though, that break the toil. At midday, you rest under a rare tree, its leaves rustling in the wind, and share a sip of chicha, a fermented maize drink, with a fellow farmer. The mountains stretch endlessly around you, their peaks catching the sunlight in hues of gray and gold. You offer a small handful of coca leaves to the earth, a gesture to Pachamama, the mother goddess, seeking her blessing for the crops. These rituals, small and familiar, tie you to the land and to your people, a thread of meaning in the daily grind. But as the sun dips lower, you return to the terraces. The chaquitacla, a tool made of wood and stone, feels heavy in your hands. The Inca Empire has brought new crops and new demands, but it's the same work as it's always been. And as the last rays of sunlight fade from the sky, you know that tomorrow you will wake before the sky is light and do it all again. The terraces may be a marvel, but they are a demanding mistress. They feed the empire, but they take everything from you. Now, as the night grows colder, you think of the feast you will make when the harvest comes in. Maybe this year the rains will be kind and the yields bountiful. You dream of juicy tomatoes, plump potatoes and sweet corn, of vibrant peppers and onions and leafy greens. Your stomach growls, reminding you of the long day of labor ahead. It is a farmer's life. It is a hard and lonely life, but it is a life of beauty and peace. Now let the tourists come and gawk at the ancient ruins of the Incas. Let them stand in the shadow of the great stones and pretend they understand the secrets of the mountains. You have tended these fields for generations. You know the secrets of the mountains. The farmer's life is hard. It always has been, always will be. But for a moment, let the soft sound of wind and the bleating of a distant llama carry you away. Let us leave the terraces and the fields behind and turn instead to the story of a man who reshaped the world. His name was Pachacati. He was the ruler of Cusco, and he is the reason why the Inca Empire exists at all. You see, before Pachacati, the Inca kings ruled over just a small part of Peru. But Pachacati had a big vision. He wanted to create a great empire that would stretch from the Pacific Ocean to the Amazon rainforest. And so he set out to conquer new lands and build new cities. He also built roads, bridges, and tunnels through the mountains, connected the empire with a network of trails, and established a new capital city, Cusco. But even though he was a great builder, Pachacati was also a humble man. He knew that the empire was made possible by the farmers who grew the food and the laborers who built the roads and the soldiers who protected the empire. And so, he is the one who started the tradition of the Inca kings getting back to the people. The mountains of Peru had been home to the Incas for many generations. But it was under Pachacuti's rule that the Inca people began their rise to prominence. Born in 1428, he became the ninth Sepa Inca, the ruler of the Inca people around 1438. Now, when Pachacuti came to power, the Inca realm was just a small kingdom nestled in the heart of the Andes, a place known today as Cusco. It was a land of towering peaks and deep valleys, a place where the rhythm of life was set by the digging stick and the bite of the mountain air. The Inca king's ambition was as vast as the mountains he called home, yet his methods were as patient and enduring as the rocks that shaped his homeland. While his predecessors had laid the groundwork, it was Pachacuti who, through a combination of shrewd diplomacy and calculated conquest, expanded the Inca domain from a small valley kingdom to a vast empire. He set out to unite the many tribes and kingdoms of the Andes under the Inca banner. One of his first acts was to forge alliances with neighboring tribes, a testament to his belief in the strength of unity. He understood that the fragmented Andean nations, while fierce individually, could be unstoppable as one. Through these alliances, Pachacuti secured the flanks of his growing empire, ensuring that his northern and southern borders remained stable. Pachacuti didn't just stop at diplomacy. He led his armies to conquer new territories, expanding the Inca domain as far north as the Colombian and Ecuadorian borders and as far south as modern-day Bolivia. He established a system of roads and bridges, the foundations of which still bear witness to his reign, connecting his far-flung empire and facilitating trade and communication. Yet, despite this expansion, Pachacuti never resorted to brute force. His victories were not Pyrrhic, but rather achieved through strategic brilliance and an uncanny understanding of his enemies. He knew when to be patient, when to strike, and above all, how to turn his enemies' strengths against them. In the annals of history, many great empires have risen and fallen, but few can claim to have done so with such quiet, unassuming strength. Like the steady, sure growth of a mountain range, the Inca Empire under Pachacuti's rule stood firm, rooted in the rich soil of the Andes. His legacy is a testament to the quiet power of patience, strategy, and unity, a reminder that even amidst the thunder of drums and the clash of arms, it is often the quietest voices that echo the loudest. And as the sun sets over the mountains, casting long shadows that stretch and fade like memories, the story of Pachacuti, the unifier of the Andes, is one that will forever be etched in the majestic peaks and valleys he called home. Thank you for listening to this episode of the History of the Inca. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, share with a friend, and subscribe for more historical tales. Okay, class dismissed. You may all go now. You know, I'm getting a bit tired of this whole being immortal thing. Don't you ever just get sick of it? Like, oh, look at me. I'm so pretty. I never have to die. Well, maybe not. Maybe you just get used to it. Like water, you know. You don't notice the water that's, around you all the time. It's just there. Like the air you breathe, you just get used to it. Yeah, I get it. But sometimes, when you're up high on a Cusco hillside, the wind whipping your woolen cloak around you, it's just so damn beautiful. You take a deep breath and you think, yeah, this is worth living for. Cusco in the early 1400s was a small but growing city. It was nestled high in a valley in the middle of the Andes, surrounded by mountains so tall they seemed to pierce the heavens. The air was thin and crisp, carrying the scent of burning coca leaves, and the sound of pan flutes drifted from ceremonial courtyards where llamas and alpacas were sacrificed to the gods of the mountains. I was born into this world as Kusi Apongpi, which means son of the moon. My older brother, my brother, was named Atahualpa, which means strongest of the sun. And we had many other brothers too, but that wasn't unusual in our culture. You see, the Inca kings had harems of both male and female lovers, and they sired children all over the place. I don't know how many half-siblings I had, but there must have been dozens. But that's not why I became known as Pachacati. That name, Pachacati, it was given to me because of who I am, because of what I did. When I was a young man, my father, the Sepa Inca Viracocha, took me with him on his war campaigns. We fought many battles against the neighboring tribes, and it was there that I earned my new name, Pachacati, which means earth shaker. Not because I was a great warrior, though I did fight well, but because of something else, something more. Because when we weren't fighting, I would sit for hours on a hillside overlooking the valley, watching the clouds drift by and thinking about all the people who lived there, tending their crops, raising their families, making their way in the world. And I thought to myself, I want to do something great, something that will shake the earth, something that will change the world. And that's why I became known as Pachacati, the earth shaker. Little did I know, I would one day be known as something else too. The great Inca king who built the empire from a small tribe to a great nation. But that's a story for another time. So what do you want to be when you grow up? An explorer? A conqueror? A king? Come on, you can do it. Just take a deep breath, relax, and let the power of the Andes flow through you. Ah, it's so freeing. Isn't it, Inti? Yes, it is. Oh, Inti, the sun god, hear me. I want to shake the earth. I want to see the world. I want to be free. So you want to be emperor of a brand new empire? Well, step 1, don't burn down your predecessor's palace. Step 2, make sure your subjects like you. Step 3, defeat a threatening army and save the capital city. Easy peasy. See, around 1438, the Chanca, a rival people from the north, threatened to destroy Cusco. So the aging ruler Viracocha packed up and left town, taking his chosen heir with him. Cusco was basically defenseless, but one young man named Pachuti refused to flee. He stayed behind in the capital with a handful of warriors, farmers, and nobles, basically anyone who didn't make it out in time. And they prepared to defend the city. Picture it. The year is 1438. You are Pachacati. Your empire is about to be sacked by a massive army from the north. All around you, people are arming themselves for the coming battle. Some have weapons, some don't. Some have armor, others just have their wits and bravery. As the sun rises, the Chanca army enters the valley, drums pounding, war cries echoing through the mountains. Can you feel the tension? Cusco's defenders cannot. They're going to need more than luck to win this battle. Okay, class, we're going to now take a quick break from our regularly scheduled program to bring you this important message. Are you tired of feeling unmotivated and unproductive? Do you find yourself constantly putting off tasks and failing to meet your goals? If you answered yes, then you need a productivity system, and we have just the thing for you. It's called the Momentum Builder, and it's completely free. This system will teach you how to build momentum by setting small, achievable goals and consistently working towards them. With the Momentum Builder, you'll learn how to stay focused, motivated, and productive even when you don't feel like it. Don't wait any longer to take control of your life. Start building momentum today with the free Momentum Builder. Click the link in the description below to get started. Now back to the lesson. As the battle rages, Pachacati rallies his troops, urging them to fight for their homes, their families, their very survival. His courage inspires the defenders, and they fight back against the Chanca army. But it's not easy. Lives are lost on both sides. Fields are left silent as the fighting continues for days. Finally, the Chanca army begins to retreat, leaving Cusco in ruins. It's a victory for the defenders, but a Pyrrhic one at best. In the aftermath, Pachacati emerges as a hero, the young man who refused to flee and who rallied the people of Cusco to defend their city. The sun god Inti must have had a hand in it, people say, for only a god could have given such courage and strategy to one so young. And so Pachacati is made emperor of the Inca, a new empire in a new capital, thanks to a massive army from the north. Click here to keep learning about the Inca Empire, or click here to get started on your own custom empire. The battle is over. Cusco is secure. And here in this valley high in the Andes, a new empire is about to begin. Here's what we know. Pachacati, the 9th king of the Inca, stands among the stone terraces of Cusco, his warriors resting wearily nearby. Their spears are propped up against the walls, leaning like shepherd's staves. The Inca king surveys his domain, his face half in shadow, his expression one of quiet resolve. The sky above is filled with the soft light of dawn, filtering down through the clouds, illuminating the rugged beauty of the valley. The air is still, the only sound the gentle murmur of a nearby stream. The scene is peaceful, even tranquil, yet there is a sense of somber triumph in the air. Pachacati, the earth-shaker, has won a hard-fought victory, securing his people and his land. He has proven himself to be a capable and worthy ruler, and the future looks bright for the Inca Empire. We don't know what weapons they used in this battle, but we do know that the Inca didn't use bows and arrows or catapults or swords. They fought with clubs and spears and shields made of wood and stone. It must have been a fierce battle, but the Inca came out on top. Now they can rebuild and grow stronger than ever before. When Pachacati first took the throne, his ambition knew no bounds. He dreamed of an Inca empire that would stretch from the mountains to the sea. But he was a wise and patient king. He knew that he couldn't conquer all of Peru in a single lifetime. So he started small, right there in the valley of Cusco. He reorganized the Inca state, dividing the lands into 4 quarters. He appointed loyal governors to rule in his place and set about the task of building a strong and prosperous state. He also expanded the Inca military, training his soldiers to be the fiercest warriors in the Andes. When Pachacati was ready to start his conquest, he didn't do it alone. He sent out armies to conquer the neighboring peoples, offering them alliances or, when that didn't work, measuring campaigns to take their lands. The Inca army was too strong for most of the other peoples of the Andes. They were able to conquer huge swaths of land in a relatively short amount of time, but it wasn't easy. The Andes are a tough place to conquer. The paths are steep and winding. The air is thin and cold. But Pachacati was a tireless king. He walked among his people, inspecting their terraces and storehouses, making sure that everything was in good order. His presence was a constant reminder of the empire's unity. He was the embodiment of the Inca state, and the Inca state was strong. So strong, in fact, that it would last for centuries, long after Pachacati was gone. The Inca Empire reached its greatest extent under his successors, but it was Pachacati who laid the foundation for their success. He was the one who carved the Inca state out of the wilderness of the Andes. He was the one who created the roads and bridges and storehouses that allowed the empire to function. He was the one who built the military that kept the empire safe. And when he died, he left behind a legacy that inspired generations of Inca kings to come. I am the host. Thank you for watching. The sun beat down on Pachacuti's back as he walked the newly completed road, a wide stone ribbon unfurling through the Andes. It had been 12 years since he'd set out to repair the crumbling roadway connecting the provinces. In Cusco, the capital city, nobles lounged on fine textiles, their voices echoing in the great council chamber. Some were adorned with the image of the condor, others with the jaguar, symbols of power and fierceness. But it was Pachacuti, the young noble with the emblem of the serpent on his cloak, who caught the eye of the old emperor. For it wasn't just his lineage that set him apart, but his restless spirit, always seeking to understand the pulse of the empire, to feel the earth beneath his feet and the wind in his hair. As years passed, Pachacuti's empire grew, its roads and terraces a testament to his vision. He rebuilt Cusco into a sacred city, its temples gleaming with gold, yet he remained a figure of quiet authority, often fasting or walking the fields to understand his people's lives. His empire thrived due to the introduction of a new metal, not gold or silver, but a strong, pliable metal called zinc. His empire stretched from modern Ecuador to Chile, a vast realm of towering peaks and verdant valleys. But his greatest legacy was the quipu, a record-keeping system using knotted cords to document everything from taxes to census data. It allowed the Inca to keep track of millions of subjects across a rugged landscape. When Pachacuti set out to conquer the lands to the south, he moved with precision, his armies following well-worn paths and bridges that spanned raging rivers. By the time he reached the coastal provinces, the locals had heard tales of his victories and his respect for their cultures. So when his armies arrived, many towns surrendered without a fight. He incorporated their soldiers into his ranks, recognizing the value of discipline and training. His empire became a well-oiled machine of roads, bridges, storehouses, and personnel. But it was the introduction of a new metal, not gold or silver, but a strong, pliable metal called zinc that allowed the Inca to thrive. As dusk settled over the Andes, painting the sky in hues of purple and red, Pachacuti stood on a high terrace. The air was cool and damp against his skin, and the scent of mountain flowers filled his nostrils. Below him, the city of Cusco bustled with life, a testament to the hard-won order that prevailed here. His gaze swept across the valley, taking in the sprawling empire he'd helped create. To the north, the road he'd repaired snaked through the mountains like a silver thread. To the east, the Temple of the Sun glistened, a beacon of gold and white stone. His life, like the roads he built, had been a path of steady, deliberate steps, each one carrying the weight of a civilization. In the distance, a lone musician played a haunting melody on a pan flute, his notes echoing the wisdom of the ages. And as the sound faded into the gentle evening breeze, the spirit of Pachacuti lingered, a reminder of the enduring legacy of a man who shaped not just a nation, but a way of life. Now, as the sunlight fades and the shadows grow long, let us journey to a place where the whispers of the past still echo among the ruins. For our next tale begins in a city hidden in the clouds, Machu Picchu, the lost city of the Inca.